What's up, you guys? I'm Sarah Slay and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial, and we're going to get into some conspiracy theories that I personally like talking about, and I kind of got a little trapped in conspiracy theories for a little while, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to just sit and chill and get a little woke with each other and do some makeup, talk about conspiracies, nothing crazy, just some fun little things that some of them I don't necessarily believe in and some of them I do. But before we get started, don't forget to like this video. Maybe you should wait till the end of the video because you don't even know if you like me yet. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, the little red button down below, and hit the notification bell because then you'll be notified when I come with a video, because YouTube doesn't like sharing my videos for some reason. And without further ado, let's just jump right into this makeup / conspiracy theory video. Let's go.
Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle?
Oh, and by the way, I'm at my mom's house. This is her bathroom, and I'm gonna be doing everything out of my makeup bag. First, I'm going to use this Dr. Brandt primer. It's supposed to be like luminous. I'm gonna put this everywhere except for my nose. All right, so for brows today, I'm going to use my Brow by Benefit. This is like a brow pomade, and I'm also going to use this MAC pencil. I like using this at the front of the brow just because it looks a little more natural, but I do like a bold eyebrow, so Brows where it's at. So let's start off with like a light conspiracy, because some of the shit I look up is like intense and crazy and scary, and that's kind of why I stopped looking at a lot of conspiracy theories anyway. But okay, let's talk about the first one. It's not so crazy and deep, but Britney Spears. Have you guys heard anything about that conspiracy theory? I believe in like some of the theories. Well, one of the theories. So there's a few of them going around. One of them is that she's a clone. I don't necessarily believe that one. But I do think, so there's another one going around that she has been like kind of faking the high-pitched voice, and she actually has a deep voice. And it makes so much sense because when she was younger, I've seen videos of her singing and it's like a really low voice, like lower than the voice she sings with right now. And how is that possible? Because when you get older, your voice normally gets deeper, right? Not more high pitch. I think that she is actually a low singer, and what they do is they speed up her voice or just play with the pitch to make it sound more high pitch. If you haven't heard about the conspiracy theory on like high pitched noises and stuff, high pitched noises are supposed to be, people like hearing them more, and it makes them like the song more, or whatever the noise is more. I think that's probably why they did it. And you know, there's another crazy one out there that her and the Bush campaign or the Bush administration, like George Bush, our old president. There's one that she and him were working together, and that she was supposed to be like distraction to all of us so that we wouldn't like pay attention to the shit that he was doing, like the ups that he had. I don't really believe that one. I think that people just go through shit, and she happened to be going through shit at that time. I don't think that necessarily means that she was supposed to be like our distraction and like was paid to do all this crazy shit. Like, no, people go through shit, you know? They are definitely distant cousins. Like, I don't even think they're in the same family tree, y'all. I'm gonna wet my beauty blender, and I have a sink right here, so I'm gonna start with spraying my face. I ran out of my Fix Plus, so I'm using this NYX Dewy Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. And I'm going to spray that on my face before I apply this NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Barcelona. So first I'm going to spray my face. And this is how, I'll show you guys how I keep my skin looking really dewy. I spray a lot throughout doing my makeup. So I'm gonna spray this first. So I got a huge tan. I went to the lake with my friends not too long ago, and if you guys can't tell from my shoulders, I got a really bad tan. And I say bad because I like burned really bad and I'm like peeling. It's gross. I'm sharing that with you guys because my foundation no longer matches me. Welcome to my life. Let's see, what's another good conspiracy we can talk about? I'm not like an expert conspiracy theorist. I just watch videos and read up on some conspiracy theories that I'm interested in. Like, I love aliens and reading about them and thinking about them. I'm not 100% sure that they're there. For the longest time, I thought 100% like aliens have to be real. It has to, because there's no way that we are the only ones alive in this vast, vast, vast universe. So there has to be something else out there, you know? But I've just been more recently trying to keep my mind open to all theories and possibilities and stuff out there. I'll keep my mind open to the possibility that there isn't an alien life form out there and we are the only ones, just because I don't want to close out any other like theories. I'm very open-minded and I don't really have my mind set on any belief right now, and I'm okay with that. I guess we could talk about Area 51. I feel like everyone and their mama knows about Area 51, and I think only some people know that. I mean, I don't like have concrete facts and dates and things like that, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm like trying to be an expert or anything. This is just stuff I like to talk about and look into. So Area 51 is a base, I believe, in the middle of like nowhere in Nevada, and for the longest time that place existed, and the government always denied that it ever existed. And people like knew, and they would kind of talk about it, but it wouldn't get anything big until eventually someone, I believe, like spilled the beans on what happens there. He was like an ex-worker, or maybe he still worked there at the time, but he spilled it to, I believe, a journalist or something like that. And then the government finally was like, okay, yeah, it exists. But that was like years and years and years of Area 51 already existing and being there and being worked at and being very secretive. So once they finally did announce that it was a real base, it was a real thing. Oh, sorry, by the way, I'm using my Tarte Tape Shape under my eyes in the shade light medium. My thought is that they moved everything that they were hiding, or that everything that they had there, they moved it to a different secret base. So I feel like right now, Area 51 is probably still being used, and there probably is some secretive stuff going on over there, because even to this day, if you try to even get close, there are guards there that are told to like shoot to kill if you really try to get inside Area 51, which is insane. I'm also going to use this down the nose. Tarte Tape Shape is actually pretty drying, I find, so I'm going to put this on the nose instead of the next concealer that I'm going to use, which is my NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer, and I'm just going to use this on my forehead because it's actually pretty dry there, on my Cupid's bow, a little bit on my chin, and then once again with our spray, we're going to spray all over the face before we blend it out. And then there's a couple of cool things like Mandela effects. Honestly, I don't believe in the Mandela effect. I honestly don't really believe that it's true. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Mandela effect, from my understanding, it's where multiple dimensions exist, and somehow this dimension like crosses with another or something like that, and something that existed in our previous dimension is now different in this one, or like just one little thing is off, you know? So for example, one of them is that for so long, everyone believed that in Star Wars, Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." But actually, and if you listen to it now, you'll hear he's saying, "No, I am your father." I mean, that's pretty crazy because I totally thought it was saying, "Luke, I am your father." And I've seen the movie, you know, I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon and thinking that that's what he said, but I've seen the movie and I literally thought that that's what he said. But I don't think that that necessarily means that there's like another dimension that came from, you know? I think that it just sounded like it, and we all just assumed it because obviously he was talking to Luke. We just all like assumed, or we just heard that, and then we all got it wrong, you know? Like, it is possible for that to happen. I feel like the conspiracy theorists that mention the Mandela effect try to say like, it's not possible for that many people to get it wrong, you know? And I think it is possible, you know? I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but I mean, you never know. Your brows are looking a little rough. Should I clean them up? I don't want to, but I think I have to, guys. So I'm gonna grab just this random flat synthetic brush and get my Tarte Tape Shape again, and I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand. I'm just going to dip this brush into it and clean up underneath my brows because they do look rough, guys. They do look rough. Okay, I'm getting a little creasy right now, so I'm gonna hurry and set this. I ran out of my Laura Mercier powder, so today I'm just gonna use this NYX Professional HD pressed powder. I'm just gonna dip my sponge in it, and I'm just gonna press under the eyes. And remember that this is the pressed powder and not the loose powder. The loose powder gives me tons of flashback, but this one's a-okay. And I'm also going to press it on my nose because like I said, my makeup leaves really quickly from my nose. So now I'm gonna go in with this big fluffy brush. I'm gonna try to do like a light set around my face. I want to be glowy, you know? I don't want to be completely matte, but I also want to set it down so that it doesn't slip and slide around. Right now we're gonna move on to the eyes. To start, I'm going to use my MAC paint pot in the shade Soft Ochre, and I'm also going to use this same flat synthetic brush just to wipe this all over so we can get a good, clean, fresh base. Oh, a Mandela effect I don't really believe in, but it's pretty interesting just because, I mean, you guys are on YouTube right now, so I assume that you know who James Charles is. If you don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know, but if you don't know who he is like a huge makeup guru here on the YouTube. And there's a Mandela effect theory that his intro was "Hey sisters," but actually it's "Hi sisters." And when I heard them say "Hey sisters," I was like, yeah, it's "Hey sisters, what do you mean?" And then they showed a clip of him saying "Hi sisters," and I was like, there's also another like celebrity conspiracy theory about Michael Jackson, which I love. I love Michael Jackson. I'm gonna set my eyes really quick with this white shade here, Okie Dokie, in the Cat's Pajamas palette. I'm using this light shade here, Bomb Diggity, from the Cat's Pajamas palette. It's like a light brown. I'm gonna put this in, or for my transition shade. Yeah, so back to this MJ conspiracy. So there's a theory that Michael Jackson himself faked his death and he's still alive right now. And I guess the motive that they're saying behind it was that he was just in a lot of debt and he couldn't get out of it, so he felt like his only option was to fake his death, and he's still out there. And I actually have seen a couple of videos where it looks like it's him, like covering his face and stuff. I mean, for one, that doesn't necessarily mean it was him, and two, those videos could have been taken prior to his death. So I think it's a pretty big one, actually. A lot of people actually believe that he is still alive, and if he is, then I hope the best for him. I hope that he can stay in solitude if that's what he wants and live the life that he wanted to, because I mean, he was famous for so long and he started his career extremely young, didn't really get much of a childhood, you know, he was working his whole life. So I hope if he is still out there, then he gets to live in peace and solitude the way he wants. Oh, there is another theory that he was murdered. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I heard that he was murdered by that doctor that everyone was talking about. I heard that he gave him too much medication on purpose. I know that many members of Michael's family believes that he was murdered, which makes me kind of believe it a little more. I heard the motive behind that was that he was with Sony. That's who he was signed with, or his records came out of. And pretty much he didn't agree with the things that he had to do, and he knew a lot of stuff and he was talking about it and he shouldn't have, and so they wanted him gone. So they hired this doctor to do it. Maybe some of you are thinking out there, no one would do that. But I mean, plenty of people would, especially if they're getting paid to do it and you know that Sony has money and could pay anyone that. And if you're thinking like, why Sony? Like, why would you think that Sony would do that? And I've actually heard a lot of bad things about Sony, saying that they give unrealistic contracts and like work artists and groups to the bone, and they pass out a lot because of all of the working and not eating and things like that. I mean, I don't really know how deep the theory goes. I don't even know if I believe the theory fully, but it makes sense from the things that I've heard. So if it is true, that really sucks, and it does make sense. So okay, next I'm gonna put Redonkulous on my lid, and I'm also going to put Scatterbrain on top of that just to give it a little more of a light gold. I am going to use my NYX setting spray to spray it down just so it sticks a little better on the eye and I don't get as much fallout. And since this is kind of like a summer glam, I don't want to go too dark on the eyes. Usually I would put a darker shade out on the outer corner, but I think I'm just going to stick with Cray Cray and just put that on the outer corner to deepen it up once I put on the shimmer shades. What is another one? What was I thinking about? Oh, guys, I know such a cool one. Okay, I hope I know enough information to make you guys like understand what I'm saying. For those of you who haven't heard the conspiracy theory about the Titanic, The Titanic, I'm gonna lay it out there. So from what I know, and I heard this from a podcast that I love listening to, and they actually have it here on YouTube. I listen to it on iTunes, but they also film it and put it on YouTube, and it's called the Mile Higher podcast. If you guys have watched Josh Eldor or Kendall Ray, they have channels here on YouTube actually. But they also have a podcast, and I friggin' love their podcast. So yeah, this is where I heard it from, and I believe it. So Titanic. When they made the Titanic, they also made another ship that was supposed to be super similar to it. They're supposed to be like sister ships, twin ships. They're supposed to be like pretty much the same, but there are minor differences, such as like the windows, shapes, and different things like that, the interior. But a lot of the other parts of it were very, very similar, like the size of the boats and everything. And that one was called the Olympic. So the theory is that the Olympic crashed, which I don't think that's an actual theory, I think that's fact. The Olympic got into a crash with like a tugboat or something like that. They went to court to try to get money for it to get it fixed, but the judge ultimately said that no, it was your fault, we're not going to fix it, or they're not going to have to fix it, you have to fix it yourself. But that was going to cost an exponential amount of money. So they decided that they were going to try to get it another way. They actually, when it came time to have the big excursion of the Titanic, they actually switched out the Titanic with the Olympic, and people didn't really recognize the difference because, I mean, back in the day, you didn't have like Instagram and YouTube and like the internet itself, and you couldn't like look at pictures of the Titanic on the internet and just like compare the Olympic to the internet. Like it just didn't happen back then, so it was very easy to switch out one of the boats if they looked similar at all. The theory is that they switched out the Olympic with the Titanic. If you guys know who Morgan Chase, he was a financer of the Titanic and the whole company. I forgot the company's name, but there's a whole company that has a bunch of boats, and the Titanic and the Olympic were two of them. And he was actually supposed to go on that boat along with a lot of other people, such as Nikola Tesla. They were all supposed to go on the boat, but for some reason, a lot of these bigwigs decided last minute that they weren't going to go on, and one of them even said that they were sick, which is pretty crazy to me, just because you have to pay a ton of money to get on one of these boats. So just not deciding not to go last minute, that sounds pretty sketch to me. All the other passengers got on, men, women, children, dogs. The theory is that they planned for the ship to go down. Mind you, there was a fire at the bottom of the boat, at the bottom of the Titanic or Olympic, whatever boat it was. We'll say Titanic for sake of being able to follow along with the story. There was a fire at the bottom of it. While people were getting on and they took off, there was still a fire. They never put it out. Their thought was, oh, we'll just put it out once we get to New York, but we'll just try to keep it at bay for now. That's insane. But anyway, the company knew that they were going to go out there, get into some type of trouble, whether it was the fire that caused the trouble or hitting the iceberg. But their thought was that they'd hit the iceberg and there was going to be another large boat out in the middle of the water, kind of near the iceberg area, and they would go in and rescue all of the people and put them on that boat. And from hitting an iceberg or having a fire at the bottom of your boat, you can use insurance money to fix the boat. The boat starts to sink because they hit an iceberg that they supposedly didn't see, which it's a huge iceberg. They were supposedly going as fast as they possibly could, which I don't know why you would do that in the middle of a bunch of icebergs, which there were more than one. It's not like just one popped up out of nowhere. They were all around. And the plan was that they were going to call the other boat that was supposedly hanging around to come and get them. So the Titanic did send out these calls to this boat, but apparently the person on the boat left. They weren't near the radio like they were supposed to, and they didn't hear the Titanic calling. So all of those people, well, most of those people died, and the boat never came. Mind you, there was a boat out there just full of no people, only blankets and life jackets. So just some crew guys sitting on a boat with a ton of blankets and life jackets, and it's a huge boat. Don't you think it's a little sketch? I think it's a little sketch. Yeah, that's that conspiracy. And you guys can tell I'm like super into that one because I totally believe it just from the evidence. Like, the reason I think that they switched out the boats is because you can see the pictures of the Titanic and the Olympic, and the Titanic has completely different windows than the Olympic. But the one that went out to sea had the same windows as the Olympic. So don't you think they didn't send out the Titanic? They sent out the Olympic. I am going to finish up my eye look right now. Let's do the lower lash line. So I'm going to take out my BoxyCharm times Pure Cosmetics. This palette has this amazing blue shade here. And this is what I did in my Instagram picture. I just took this blue color and ran it under my waterline just to give a pop of color. For my inner corner, I'm going to use Scatterbrain. I'm going to spray it with some setting spray. And now I'm just going to lightly put some Scatterbrain on my brow. Now I'm going to do a wing. I think I'm going to put some black liner halfway through my lower waterline and some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I didn't put any bronzer on this face yet. So we're going to use the NARS bronzer in Laguna. Now I'm just going to try to contour my nose a little bit. I just kind of do 2 straight lines down the side of my nose. Oh, this video is going to be so long. Okay, let's get some highlight. I got my Becca Prosecco Pop. Okay, let's spray again. And look how much like better it looks. It just makes your makeup look so much better, I feel like, after you put on some setting spray, especially if you want to look like luminous and radiant. Okay, and for lips, the very last step, thank goodness, because this video is so long, but I'm sure you guys like long videos. I know I do. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Venus. Alright you guys, this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this look or this tutorial and all my little conspiracy theories that I like watching and listening to. But I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I really, really love this look. I think it is like perfect for summer. It's luminous, it's bronze, you got a pop of color which is blue like the ocean and the pools that we are going to be laying out by. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any conspiracy theories that you want to know more about, and maybe I can do another video kind of like this where I do my makeup and talk about conspiracy theories, or we can just have a chat down below on conspiracy theories if you guys want to, because I freaking live for those conversations. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in my next one.
Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle?